Any health-related information on the following show provides general information only. Content presented on any show by any host or guest should not be substituted for a doctor's advice. Always consult your physician before beginning any new diet, exercise, or treatment program.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Inspired and Empowered Living TV show and podcast for a thriving life and business. And we are live on Thursdays at 5 p.m. Eastern on talk4tv.com, w4wn.com, and my YouTube channel. And today I am so excited for the 3 hidden blocks that keep women stuck: doubt, delay, and distraction. And we have Janice Whiting, and I am going to be interviewing her. And she is a seasoned entrepreneur, business strategist, and burnout recovery expert. And together we'll be exploring why so many women entrepreneurs can be doing all the right things and yet still feel stuck, overwhelmed, or unable to create the momentum they truly desire. And so really tune in for our conversation on how doubt, delay, and distraction, these hidden patterns, operate beneath conscious awareness, influencing your decisions, draining your energy, and even keeping most capable women from moving forward. And we will discuss more about how these silently undermine your confidence and keep you second guessing your decisions, and why delay isn't procrastination, but a deeper protective pattern that holds you back from visibility, growth, and income, and how distraction drains your energy and focus, and what to do to shift that to create real momentum and align success. Yes, I can talk today. Anyway, let's create a life you love. I'm your host, Nanci Deutsch, licensed clinical social worker, certified hypnotherapist, and intuitive business expert, combining my counseling, coaching, and intuitive abilities to help you transform your life and your business. This show is not a replacement for therapy or counseling, and it is for educational purposes only. And I'd like to welcome my guest, Janice Whiting, to the stage. And I am going to share a little bit. Hello, Janice. Welcome. So glad that you're here joining us. And a little bit about Janice. So as I said before, she is a seasoned entrepreneur, business strategist, and burnout recovery expert with over 30 years of experience founding and scaling multiple ventures, including a global business. She is the visionary behind the Million Women Rising Wisdom Exchange, and is passionate about helping women entrepreneurs build success without self-sacrifice. As the author of Building Your Inner Empire and Thinking Time for Entrepreneurs, and the creator of Clear Path for Success, Janice combines neuroscience, identity work, and real-world strategies to help women break free from burnout, align their energy, grow with clarity, confidence, and sustainable momentum. And I am so happy to have you here with us, Janice.
I sound good.
Yeah, I know, right? You sound like an expert. And I look, you should have heard me. I don't know. Am I doing the doubt, delay, or distraction? I don't know what's going on, but I was having a hard time with that entrance. Entry. I don't know, everybody. But anyway, we're here to have fun. Join us for some fun today. Because when Janice and I get together, because I do know Janice, we have fun.
There you have it. Well, I'm going to take that little piece of that recording and I'm going to make that my alarm to go off in the morning. And it just Nanci introducing me. It's just going to be that. I'm going to be like,
yes. Okay. And then you'll have my in your ear. So definitely love it.
Yeah.
All right. So Janice, let's actually start with this doubt, delay, and distraction. I know you call it your 3Ds in your book, Building Your Inner Empire. And how do these show up in women's lives and businesses? And also tell us a little bit about your book, Building Your Inner Empire. Sure. So why don't we start with that and then we'll get into 3Ds.
Okay, so I wrote this book. So this book comes out of many years of, so my background is so I always say, people do service businesses, and I've been in the service business most of my career as a business consultant, but I don't do taxes and I do the human side. So anything that had to do with the human being in the world of work, in the world of leadership, in the world of functioning inside of an organization, that really was my specialty. So it was the human being having a human experience inside businesses. And, so I have a graduate degree, I have a master's in counseling. I have over 30 years. I started my first company when I was 27 years old. It was a manufacturing company. Then I moved into training development. I moved into organizational development, leadership development, strategic planning, and the list goes on and on and on and on and on. So the last company I built was with my business partner out of Australia. We were a leadership development company, and we had a bespoke assessment that we created where it assessed the gaps between experience and desire. So a leader knew where they needed to close the gaps to improve communication performance, their relationship with that person, and also ultimately to increase engagement levels. So we were really deep into the employee engagement levels and creating work environments that were healthy, safe, and people. But I've also done so many other things. It's kind of crazy. So my book, this came out of, and I had my own personal burnout story. I know Nanci knows pieces of it, but, I was flying home from yet another really grueling, sales marketing meeting trip to London. And I came home and I literally sat down for 2 years. I burnt out. And I tell this story. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I one of the things that happened for me is I went to the doctor and I'm talking to the doctors, and, I love Western medicine. I think it's amazing, but I was going to doctors going, what's wrong with me? And I remember filling out the form where it's kind of like, where are you at? Have you thought about hurting yourself, or how do you do most days? Normally I'm like, whoop, all fives and off I go. I literally sat in the corner and cried as I could not get above a 3. Mm-hmm. And for the first time in my life, I could not just pull my boots up, put my big girl panties on and get on with it. And I was like, what happened? So that happened. I had to rebuild myself. I had to rebuild my internal world so I could then start rebuilding my external world. And so the story, everything that kind of happened from there came from all of this and this experience I had where I was like, whoa, what just happened to me? And I know listeners out there, and I know Nanci, you know this, how many times, you just blindsided. It's like you got hit by a train and you're like, what happened? So I went on my own personal journey, and this book is it's kind of everything I learned about understanding building your inner empire. And I'll say one more thing, and I'll use this as an example, is that I think about building a business as a double helix, like a DNA strand, right? And one strand is the business acumen. It's knowing the tools, techniques, strategy, the things you need to do to build a business. But the other strand, which is important, but I wasn't really paying attention to it because I thought, I'm strong, I can handle it, I can handle anything. It is the inner empire. It's that foundation inside of us that allows us to hold up the ladder and to hold up the journey and to take each step in a way that allows us to be healthy, allows us to be wise, allows us to handle what was going on. So that's me. So that book is my kind of me taking what I learned, not only from my own experience, but also from working with just thousands of leaders, thousands of entrepreneurs, and talking about, creating some frameworks that allow people to understand some things. So hopefully that wasn't too long.
Okay, thank you, Janice. Well, I mean, to me, it's really fascinating, your journey and how you really recovered from that burnout. And what I feel is that burnout is like, it's like that rock bottom where you can rediscover. It gives you this opportunity to rediscover who you really are at that deeper level. But of course, you need to do the self-care and all the other things that come with recovering from burnout.
Yeah.
And yeah, what were you going to say?
Oh no, I mean, yeah, burnout is, and there's signs, there's signs along the way. And if I would have been recognizing some of them, I would have caught it way earlier. But, as entrepreneurs, we tend to think, okay, so part of my book, I talk about the hustle culture and this male dominated energy of just work harder, work faster, put more hours in, crank more out. And I was in it. I was living it. I was breathing it. I was in, and I didn't recognize I was literally in just survival mode when I got on that plane and I came home. And I say I've been tired before, but I was tired at my soul. My soul was exhausted. And that was, I mean, you can recover from physical exhaustion, but recovering from when your soul is tired, that's a whole different process.
Yes. No, I mean, that's why it's you discovered that connecting more deeply with your soul was what really you needed, and all those self-care pieces that you need to reconnect with your soul. But what do you were saying that about burnout, and why do you think that there's so many women and women entrepreneurs that are experiencing burnout today?
Well, I truly believe that it has to do with the culture we're in. So the business culture and building a business is, and you think about Silicon Valley, right? You think about, venture capitalists and the hustle grind, get the secret. And you even think about the language we use in business, kill the competition, smash out, do the, even the language we use in marketing, right? The language we use in all of it is very male dominated. It's very, we're going to war. I'm going to war. And so I think that part of what has happened in our world is that we have forgotten the feminine. And I love all of the energy that's coming out around the feminine, but how do we balance between we need the masculine, we need that energy to be able to get up, get going, put on the armor. And, we need that. But at the same time, if we're not honoring our feminine and we're not respecting that, I think this is what's leading to so much burnout and just people you're just tired. I'm tired. I don't want to play the game this way anymore. Right. And that's part of what led to building Million Women Rising Wisdom Exchange is I'm trying to allow people to have a platform without feeling hustle and grind, with feeling empowered and supported.
So now that you brought Million Women Rising Exchange, please
got the plug in.
I see. But that's great because I'm here with Janice helping her with Million Women Rising Exchange. And I so believe in her vision. So why don't you share about it, like where that vision came from and what it is and what's happening right now? Because I want people to know what's happening right now.
Okay. So Million Women Rising is an online virtual event where we invite women all over the world to come and do 20-minute presentations sharing wisdom of some kind. We are so much in the 30-second, 20-second, 90-second, give me the answer to, help me. And you can't get that in so many seconds, right? So what I wanted to do is two sides. One, I wanted to give a platform for people who are looking for insight and help and wisdom. But I also wanted to give a platform for women who are offering amazing, powerful, transformational types of services that will cut down your learning curve by 98%. Instead of going through 10 years or 5 years of burnout and exhaustion and can't get out of bed and wondering how you're going to pay your bills, etc., you literally find the resources and you find the right person who has the right blueprint and methodology that fits for you. You can cut that down into you're done and moved on in 3 weeks. I mean, radical opportunity to make huge shifts and fast without, all of the time and investment. Because, guys, this is it. I'm 62. And I know my husband and I are talking a lot about, hey, we're kind of at the end of the game here. We're heading into, it's not like, oh, we can do that in 15 years. It's like, here, we're in the home stretch of our lives and our bodies and our minds. And so, we need to move. We need to be able to heal ourselves and work through things faster in a healthy way, not in a negative way, but in a very healthy, some of the things you do. And, some of the women and Million Women Rising and some of the things they're sharing are so incredibly powerful. It's like, whoa.
Yes. Yes. And I've been listening and I've been a part of it. I mean, like so many women just have so much and so many gifts. And I really feel how needed this is right now. I mean, this is, I really believe that women are here to be a big force in changing humanity and how important that is. And I really believe Million Women Rising are totally here to be part of that change. So
I hope so.
We have a question came in. Well, actually, Mickey says that burnout is a real bad state to be in. So, Mickey, it sounds like you know that from your own experience. And yeah, it is. It's a really hard state to be in. And I'm hoping that you have healed, and I'm grateful that you're here and you join us on the show. So thank you for sharing that, Mickey.
Well, so when it comes to burnout, one of the elements of burnout, and this is partly our culture, especially Western culture, if you're burnt out, you're weak, you're sad, you're pathetic, you can't hack it, you can't take it, you didn't have the cojones to be able to, do it. There's so much stigma associated with, if you share with somebody, I'm burnt out, it's like, you might as well say, I'm weak, I'm pathetic, because that's what the culture thinks it is. And it's actually not. It's your body. And it's literally, you've gotten to the end of this, all of the signs were there, right? If you're heading towards a heart attack and all the signs are there, we just ignored them. And so if we can catch it early and we can pay attention and we can reverse this, we can stop it, we can reverse it, we can make a shift earlier in the journey. So we are not then trying to pick ourselves up like a puddle on the floor. Right.
Okay. So Janice, can you, because this is an important discussion, because I think that giving our viewers and listeners understanding of some of the signs, let's maybe make a list for them so that they can start to recognize, oh my gosh, this is something that I'm experiencing. So you maybe share some of that. And I also want to add in, because you did say on a soul level. So list some of the physical symptoms, mental, emotional, and spiritual, so that it helps our listeners and viewers understand maybe more about burnout for themselves or people they love.
Yeah. So Nanci, please jump in here. But, here's one of the challenge with burnout is, it's personal. Everybody has their own threshold around where their comfort. My threshold, part of the challenge I had is my threshold to handle the grind and the work and the this and the that, it was high. It's almost like I had a super high threshold to pain. I had a super high threshold to just handling it until I couldn't anymore. Right. And I think that some of the things and some of the signs that you want to look for is, you're disconnecting. You don't, I use the word apathetic, but you're starting to really lose the why you're doing something. If you talk to women in corporate America and they, you're having a conversation with them and they just don't care anymore. I just don't care. I don't want to even invest in this anymore. They don't want to do X. So some of those.
Oh, wait, I want to stop for a second because this is important. So if you or someone is saying, I don't care, or you're just feeling maybe numb or just exhausted or fatigued, I love that phrase. Well, I don't love the phrase, but it's an important phrase. I don't care. I don't care anymore. You've lost your passion or drive for what you originally wanted to do when you first came into corporate or into the work that you're doing. Sorry, I wanted to get those 2 cents in.
No, please. I love our banter because, Nanci and I have both, pretty robust backgrounds in and around, human behavior and stuff, but, disconnecting from your why. And I think, so I can talk about it in entrepreneurship, but I can also talk about it in other aspects, is that we're raised with a certain box in which we put ourselves.
I see some. We're raised in a certain box.
Well, okay. So as women, we're put in the box where, you get it. So my generation right now, we're the first generation of women who really had a huge choice in a lot of things. And I know we still have division in salary and things like that. But the thing that we go down these paths in lives and we make these decisions about our lives very young without a lot of information. And a lot of times burnout comes later in life because we've been running down a path and we all of a sudden kind of go, I don't want to wait, this isn't what I want. This isn't meeting my needs. So I think burnout happens a lot. For an entrepreneur, a lot of times burnout happens when we feel like we're on this hamster wheel. So I need to share this. So there's 4 resources that we have to pay attention to, and they're limited. They're absolutely limited. One is our time. We only have so much time. We only have so much money and everything that money can buy. So anything, whether it's hiring a virtual assistant, whether it's getting the right computer, getting a new computer, whether it's getting the car to get you where you need, whatever, it's anything money can buy. It's mental energy, which is also emotional energy, and it's physical energy. So it can only ask you to run around the building so many times, right? And if you think about those as like little valves, right? So they're, you've got these 4 areas, and depending on what's going on in our lives, those valves get thrown wide open. So if time is wide open and you don't have time, you have no recovery time, or your mental or emotional valve is opening and you're not replacing it, you're not figuring out how to fill those buckets back up intentionally. And a lot of the presenters in Million Women Rising are talking about filling those buckets back up intentionally. And what I did is when I sat down and really thought about it, every one of those buckets was completely empty. And when those buckets are empty, this is when you're at crisis. And so I talk in my book about we need to pay attention to those and making sure, like, I'll give you an example today. We have so much going on. I'm on a huge project, and I literally got up from my desk and my honey goes, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Self-care right now. I need self-care. I needed to go fill my mental and emotional bucket because," and I went for a walk. I came back literally sweating, booked into another meeting, but I knew that bucket is getting drained and I needed to fill that back up. And so I hope that's helpful in that
Great
when you
example. That is like really a great example. So thank you for that, Janice. And let's get to Misty. Misty says, you have to know when to stop or slow down, even though you can still go on.
Oh, Misty.
So, so true.
Yes. And you know, it's hard, especially if you're an entrepreneur and or women, you get children, as we get aging parents, we have spouses, husband, partners, we have so many pulls. So it's the invisible labor, which we can go down that path and talk about invisible labor that, I tease my honey because he says things like, we need to mop the floor. And I finally had a conversation. I said, do you understand, as a woman, when you say we, all I hear is you, right? So we have a joke around the house about the we. Who's the we we're talking about here? How do you know your bucket's never too full, darling? Always.
And let me Anastasia asked, how do we know our buckets and when they are too full? So can you describe that a little bit?
Well, I don't think our buckets can get too full. I think that if because I always want you to recognize that there's always a valve at the bottom of that bucket that's dripping, 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 dripping. And I think that we have the opposite problem. We're struggling with taking and intentionally filling those buckets up. And so I'm going to use this as an example. I work a lot with people who are in the healing space, in the transformational space, and they are fantastic at filling their buckets with making sure they have time to meditate, their mental, emotional buckets, their physical, doing their yoga. But here's where they get drained. They see money as potentially an evil, or don't understand the relationship, or don't have a good relationship with money, or feel like money, I can't be a healer and make money. And that money valve wide open.
Totally. I mean, I work with so many clients that the money issues. So, and also the time.
And time.
Time, as entrepreneurs or as women, it's the give, because I talk about this a lot in the show. It's the give, and learning to be able to set those boundaries, know where your boundaries are. So part of the buckets, and can you repeat the 4 buckets again? I think that would be helpful. Time. Okay.
Money and everything money can buy.
Yeah.
Mental and emotional bucket, and our physical bucket, our physical health and well-being, and our ability to sustain physical activity, sitting at a desk, doing a presentation, jumping on a Zoom call at 4:00 in the afternoon, right? Having, that physical energy is just critical.
It's so important. And that's why that the self-care and I loved your example of your timeout. I call it the timeout. And you took the time out to say, I don't care right now. I've got to make myself a priority, because if you didn't, you would have felt probably burnt out by the end of the day. So,
well, and here's the thing. And I talk in my book about grace and grit, right? So again, I'm talking to entrepreneurs, but I talk about grace and grit. And in our life, we always there's times when we just have to do sheer grit. We just got to bear down, get her done, sit at the desk, wrap it up, make it happen. But then we have to, what we don't have in our world today is the balance between grace and grit. And we stay in this grit state. And what we, as women, we need that balance. Men can stay in grit longer. Remember, men are hunters. Men go out, they hunt. Think about the roles, genetically that we have. And it's like women need to pull grace into their life intentionally.
I love that. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. I'm all about grace and I love it.
So one of the things that I like to teach is when you're so many times in like self-care, like going for a walk or going to your meditation, or like Nanci the other day, she's all, Janice, quit texting me. I'm meditating today. Leave me alone. She's self-caring. She's filling her bucket. And what I want you listeners to recognize is that when you go do whatever it is that fills your buckets, it's not self-care. It's more than self-care. You're actually filling up these buckets that if you don't have the capacity in these buckets to be able to show up, suit up, be there, be present, listen to your children, listen to your spouse, do whatever it is you want to do. If these buckets are getting drained and you're not filling them back up, you're detrimental across the board to your own health, to the people around you. And I'm not throwing blame like, oh, it's your fault. I'm saying, please, when you go take that walk, or you say, I need a time out, I need to go to my yoga class, I need to go to my medication, I need to go to my space, or do whatever it is you do. It's more than self-care. You're actually repairing and filling those buckets.
I love it. We have a couple more questions about the bucket. So Misty says, we burn through the bucket trying to get each one to fill. Do you, Misty, do you understand that question or what Misty was saying? I'm not sure.
I'm not quite sure. And Misty, if you can throw up a little bit more.
Clarify, because we need more clarification on what you just said so that we can share it with you better. Okay, Mickey says, seems each bucket has to dump into the other to try to get someplace in life. Well, it's a hole.
Yeah. I intentionally fill all of my buckets on a regular basis. I make sure that I'm taking care of my money. I care for my money. I love my money. I respect my money. I honor my money when it comes in. So I intentionally make sure that my money world is healthy as it can be at any moment in time. I make sure that I have time to take care of myself. Like, I could have easily sat at my desk and continued to work, but I literally said, I'm going to take time to make sure that I'm getting the things in my life so I understand the nuances of what you're talking about, but I also think we have to intentionally, I make sure that I spend time, like I did a paint class the other night with one of my girlfriends. We went and painted, we learned how to paint something. And, that filled my emotional and mental bucket. I exercise because that fills my physical bucket. It gives me the physical strength and stamina to be able to do the things that I want to do in my life. Right? Is that helpful? Hopefully.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, hopefully. And really it's really, I think it's really important. The buckets are like metaphors, but we're talking about you as a whole person. And it's a piece of what you need in order for you to feel whole, to feel fulfilled, to feel full. Yeah. So that you can, like Vicky says, in life.
Well, you don't burn out. Stephen Covey, but this has also been done by many, many, many people over the years. It was some professor a long time ago where he takes a bucket and he has sand, he has pebbles, he has rocks, and he has, all this stuff. And he has a student come up and he goes, put all of this into this bucket. And so the person puts in the water and puts in the sand. Well, by the time they got all this in there, they can't get the biggest rock in there, which is the most important thing that needs to be in the bucket. But if you reverse that and you put the big thing in, then you put this, and then you put this, and then you finally put the water in, everything fits. And I think that my message to you is, and we're talking about burnout, is we need to make sure we put the big rock, which is our self-care, in those buckets on a regular basis. So it's priority. It gets done, right? That filling of that bucket gets done.
So I really want to get to doubt, delay, and distraction, your 3 Ds. We kind of got sidetracked, and it's such an important concept. So can you share a little bit about your 3 Ds?
My 3 Ds. So, again, you're trying, when you're working with these concepts and you're trying to explain things that are kind of huge, and you try to break it down into some things that people can walk away with. So especially for women entrepreneurs. So that's my specialty, is working with women entrepreneurs. We get into, and we're building these businesses, and we're on the spiral, right? We're on the DNA strand spiraling up. We're growing, we're shifting. And I use this analogy where when you're building a business, there's platforms. So there's platform 1, and then there's things that happen at platform 1. And then you continue to grow, and then there's the next platform, then there's the next platform, and the next platform. And each one of those platforms comes with, well, let me give this analogy. You guys know the hero's journey, right? So the hero's journey goes around, and you start at the top, and the hero gets called to do something. They get called to go on this epic adventure, Lord of the Rings, whatever it is. And they have a problem to solve. They need to find the ring. They need to do whatever, right? So they get called to an adventure. And so we get called to entrepreneurship, right? We want to start a business. We want to do transformational coaching. We want to heal people. We want to provide something. We want to do something. Then we go into so we're in the known, and then we go into the unknown. And the unknown is the riskiest place for an entrepreneur to ever be. And this is the place that will actually will get into the 3 Ds the most: doubt, delay, distraction, because we don't know what to do. We don't know how to do it. We start questioning whether we even should be doing it. So then in the entrepreneur journey, we go around, and usually we find mentors, we find resources, we find wisdom, we find, and we come through that. And then we have some sort of transformation where we're like, I get it. Oh my God. Oh, this entrepreneur thing. I got it. Poop, poop, poop. I'm out. And then you come around and you live there for a little while. But then what happens? You get to the top, and all of a sudden something changes. And then you're right back down into this unknown. And then you figure it out. And literally, I take that spiral, I turn it flat. And that is the entrepreneurial journey, is in and out of known, unknown, known, unknown, known, unknown, known. Because no matter, talk to entrepreneurs who have gone through economic downturn. Even what's happening right now in the world, we're facing things that, as an entrepreneur, and everybody else, but as an entrepreneur, we're about ready to head into massive unknown. The pandemic shifted so many people into trying to figure out. So what I've seen over what stops the entrepreneur is when they let doubt, delay, and distraction overwhelm them, and they get into. So Esther Hicks, in the book, in one of the books, I think it's Vortex, they talk about the emotional spiral, and you're either spiraling up or you're spiraling down. And the doubt, delay, distraction, you're in the spiral down. And if you don't, okay, this goes back to my buckets, right? The 4 energies that we have. If we're not recognizing these 3 are drainers. So if I'm doubting I should do this, doubting whether I'm qualified, doubting whether this is the right thing, all of those things that come along with that. If I'm in delay, and that means I'm not stepping on stage. So this Million Women Rising is partly about stepping onto stage. I'm not doing the podcast that I keep saying. I'm not writing the book I say I'm going to do. I'm not taking the action. You're in this delay. Well, you're on that spiral down, right? And you're emotionally getting drained, because you know when you're down here, you're emotionally drained, right? And then distraction is all of the shiny objects that are out there in the world that you could be doing. I mean, I don't know about you, another certificate, another course, another YouTube video, or just hours on social media going, what are the people talking about? Right? Or not getting out of bed, not doing the work that needs to be done, not suiting up and showing up. And all of these spiral us down. And this is where, when we're an entrepreneur, we are extremely vulnerable for burnout at that point in time.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, Janice.
Yeah.
Misty answered us. So I want to get to that. And I want to get to that briefly because I want you to share a little bit about how people can get your book and join the Million Women Rising if you haven't been there at all. So Misty says, it seems like we keep trying to fill the buckets to get somewhere, but one has to pour into the others, trying to get it all done.
I'm going to go to the space where I hear what you're saying. However, what I've personally learned is that I don't pour one into the other. I intentionally make sure I put into my life and my world and my days things that fill my buckets. So, and again, I'm going to go back to grace and grit, right? There are times when it's full grit. I'm acting marketing director for a large company, and my social media director quit on Monday and literally just quit. And like, I'm quitting. All of a sudden, I have this vacuum of work along with everything else that I need to be doing in this situation. And I know right now I'm just in grit because we have the Million Women Rising event going on. Literally right now, I'm just in grit, and I carved out a minute today to go for a 20-minute walk because I know I needed that. My body needed it, my mind needed it, my soul needed it, right? But day to day, I understand that if I stay here in grit too long, all of those buckets are getting drained. So I have to find time. I need, and it's hard. I know it's hard. I know that if I don't figure out and fill those buckets back up, I will be back where I was when I was on that airplane, tired at my soul level. Yes. And I will not do that again. It will not happen to me again. And there's a period at the end of that sentence.
Yay, Janice.
We have
one other question that came in from Mickey, and we'll finish Mickey's question and then we'll get to. So, and if you can answer this fairly quickly, that would be great.
I'll try.
How can you take action if you are too busy trying to chase the money needed to get further with the others? Okay.
So I'm going to go back to grace and grit, right? You might be in grit right now. Journal, take some time, do some thinking, ask yourself, where am I getting super drained? What can I do to fill my buckets? Is there simple things you can do, like a 10-minute meditation? It doesn't have to be this gregarious gesture of filling. It can be as simple as sitting in your backyard for 5 minutes with your feet on the ground, your face towards the sun, and just breathing.
Yeah.
That's how simple it can be to fill your buckets. And that all depends on how empty when I was completely flatlined across the board with all of my buckets, I had to do a lot of work to just get to the point where it was full enough for me to take action, right? So everybody's at different places. And my point is when we can't even recognize what's going on, we're headed towards trouble. But what I'm hoping that you got out of this is some ways to recognize when you might be heading into trouble and what you could do about it. Does that help? I hope.
Yes. I mean, hopefully it helps. And I want to thank you so much, Janice. So why don't you share a little bit about the link, like we have the links for the book and for the Million Women Rising. If you any last words or what you would like to say about them before we end.
Well, we'd love you to come to the Million Women Rising Wisdom Exchange and just, the speakers are on, it's going through the 22nd. Come give them some love. These brave, brave, brave women, a lot of them, not a lot. Some of them have been on many stages, but we have a lot of women there who are literally the first time stepping onto a stage, a virtual stage, who are sharing. And I would so appreciate it if you would go give them some love. And, give them some comment, let them know how you like their presentation, their 20-minute talk. And then, come celebrate. My book is available on Amazon. It's free on Kindle. And, my book is my gift to women out there who are building businesses, who might need a little bit of help in getting the balance going. And there's more in the book. I talk about the 3 C's, I talk about the 4 pillars. And so there's a lot more in the book to help you with, not burning out on this journey. So
yes, and so on screen for those who are viewing, the book is on Amazon, and to get to the Million Women Rising Exchange, you need to go to Janice's Facebook group called Clear Path to Success.
Clear Path for Success.
Clear Path for Success. Thank you for the correction. Clear Path for Success. And I also want you to know I'm there. I've been speaking. I spoke on intuition the other day, and Saturday, I will be speaking on your soul and how your soul guides you to create the business and the life of your dreams. Mm-hmm. And I also, Janice has interviewed me. I've been on panels. I'm all over the place. So you've got to come and join us.
Oh, please do. Please do. And, we're here to celebrate. We're here to celebrate all of us. And I love Nanci saying, you want to do your quote? The quote.
Oh, okay. My quote is, the Dalai Lama has said that it is the Western woman who will save this world. So you are all needed. So come and join us. And Rebel, can you put the links in the chat as well? That would be helpful. So we have the links in the chat, and you've seen the links on the screen. Clear Path for Success Facebook group for the Million Women Rising. And always Google, you can always put on Amazon Janice Whiting if you're not sure how to get to her book.
That's my book. It's very simple. It's a really quick read. It's not
building your empire. I love it.
Building your inner empire. It's not complicated, you guys. I really tried to keep it I really wanted to give just things, food for thought, and things that you can do and help you on this journey, especially if you're an entrepreneur and you're in the throes of the spiral.
Okay. Thank you so much, Janice, for joining me today. I love it. And I want to thank you all for joining, and those of you who are live, any questions that you put in. And if you have any questions, you can always tag me or ask. I'm always willing, and you can also tag Janice as well. And so I invite you for more inspired and empowered living. We're live on Thursdays at 5 p.m. Eastern on Talk4TV, W4WN.com, and my YouTube channel. And I look forward to connecting with you, and I wish you all an inspired and empowered day, night, and week. Have a great one, everybody, and bye for now.